Winglets are a series of novellas that take place in the Wings of Fire universe that feature side characters and their journeys. As of right now, when I'm writing the script, there are 4 completed novellas: Prisoners, Assassin, Deserter, and Runaway. There have been hints at others, such as one covering Sora and Umber and one about Stonemover and Thorn, but none of them have been confirmed for publication yet. All 4 books share something in common besides their length. They do not have a cover with a dragon on them. Instead, their books are plain, they're just taken from the backgrounds of the main series books. This is likely because the publishers did not want to commission more art from Joy Eng, as art is expensive. It also may be because the books are small, too small to get their own cover. But even Warrior Cat's novellas get their own covers, or at least a shared cover within their collection. When The Winglets was released as a collection, they once again borrowed art from the main books. In this new series, I'm going to be redrawing the Winglet covers and also talking about my favorite aspects from each Winglet. Now, let's start the series off with the first one released, Prisoner. Before we get started, if you are new to this channel, please think about subscribing. I regularly post both Wings of Fire and Warrior Cat's content, so you'll never be bored. And to my current subscribers, thank you so much for supporting me. I wouldn't have gone here without y'all. Now let's talk about the artistic process. I decided to use my old design of Fierce Teeth I had made for Nightmare Night. I color picked some of it, but I didn't for other things. I also added spines to her back, as I typically omit them when animating because they are so hard to draw and keep consistent, and they were not in her original design, so I once again just made up a color. I also used her earring. I don't think the earring is ever described in the books, and Mike Holmes just made it up so the dragons would look different from each other. Speaking of that, his design for her definitely inspired my own. Pretty much the only thing different is the style. The colors, mine are a bit brighter, and the fact that mine has, well, fierce teeth. Coming up with the pose in the scene was incredibly difficult for this cover. For my first sketch, I had her laying down in prison with the scroll that she writes on in the book between her front legs. However, I didn't like how much space she was taking up on the cover. Wings of Fire covers also tend to be dynamic, and lying down is perhaps the opposite of dynamic. So I thought of some other iconic places or scenes associated with Fierce Teeth. Maybe the Old Night Kingdom, where she set up her own sect of the tribe, or maybe even the volcano. Seeing as, at this point in her life she hasn't been to the Old Night Kingdom yet, I was left with the volcano. It would be very easy to draw. I decided to add in a dragon skull for funsies as well. If I were to draw the back of this cover, it would likely be more of the lava field, and also the volcano rising above it in the background. I'd also maybe add in a dragon skeleton, because why not? Skeletons always make everything better. Next, let's talk about my opinion on the book. This was the first novella, so of course Tui experimented with what would work. In this book, she utilizes a unique formatting. The entire book is told in a series of letters between Fierce Teeth and our guard Cigaro. The formatting is unique and works really well. We are able to see things through Fierce Teeth's perspective, and that allows us to see what type of dragon she is as well through that. I wish Tui experimented more with formats in the Winglets. It's just one tiny book, so if she decides to make one told mostly through poems, for example, it won't impact sales too much. I enjoyed Fierce Teeth and Strongwing's romance. The two are amazing in my mind. They are literally the smart villain and the dumb henchman trope, but in love. My favorite quote that Fierce Teeth says about him is, "I don't care if no one understands why he's mine. It's my heart. I can stick whomever I want in there." Positively and adorable for a dragon as self-absorbed and dark as Fierce Teeth. I love how this book mentions things from the main continuity and slips them in seamlessly, such as dragons preferring females. That is mentioned because Fierce Teeth tells Cigaro that Mother was doing that dragon thing, of assuming her special perfect egg had a female dragonette inside. Implied reverse sexism like this helps to flesh out the world and the power structures more. I wish we got to see more of the ways that females being in charge affects dragon culture in the books. Another continuous thing that made me laugh was Moralseer wanting a dragon with a more mature background to have the 3 Moons egg, and mentioned Secret Keeper as a perfect dragon for the job. And it's incredibly ironic because we know if Secret Keeper had gotten the dragon egg, she would have hidden it far, far away in the rainforest. Fierce Teeth is also an incredibly complex character, more complex than most people give her credit for. She grew up being told that she would not be powerful, unlike her younger brother, who simply because of the phase of the moon he would hatch under, was considered to be holy. She was desperate for attention. She was dropped in favor of her mother's special egg, and even when he was taken away, her mother never apologized to her, which is understandable due to the trauma, but still, you are neglecting a child. She even pretended that Morrissey was her own father in order to try and get attention from him or any adult, only to have him ignore her as well. So is it really any surprise that the first opportunity she got, she tried to seize power and attention, that she tried to seize control of her life, seize a destiny for herself? And yes, that was through kidnapping an innocent Sandwing, but you can really see where she's coming from. And then, after she got imprisoned and then escaped, Darkstalker sensed her ambition. He knew that she would do a lot for power, and he took advantage of that, using her to make his own version of Clearsight. Speaking of that was incredibly messed up. Earlier in the arc, we saw what just 2 minutes of mind control did to Winter. Fierceteeth was being controlled for hours at a time, and forced to be many different versions of Clearsight instead of just one version of a dragon. Fierceteeth did get what she wanted, power, the ability to choose her own destiny as a lieutenant, but it was not on her own terms, and it could have been revoked at any second. I wonder if the experience left any effect on her. Perhaps not, as she seemed fine after Darkstalker reversed the enchantment, but sometimes people suppress things in the moment and remember them later. Last time we heard from her, she was starting her own Nightwing settlement called Renewal. She's expecting eggs alongside Strongwings, and I'm glad everything turned out for her in the end. Here's the final result. Did you like the book Prisoners? What are your thoughts on Fierceteeth? Comment down below. If you liked this video, feel free to subscribe. I make Wings of Fire and Auroricast videos pretty often, and your support would mean a lot to me. And to those who've already subscribed, thank you for continued support. I wouldn't have gotten here without y'all. Peace, Rogan out.